So, when I say American Southwest, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Probably something like a vast, empty desert, right? Sun-baked rock, maybe a tumbleweed, and not much else. Well, today, we're going to completely flip that script. We're diving into the incredible secrets hidden in plain sight.
And this quote right here, this is our mission statement. It's the central myth we are here to bust. We're going to see how this land, which so many people think of as hostile to life, is actually one of the most inventive and life-filled places on the entire planet.
So, you've got this common perception on one side, empty, lifeless, monotonous, barren. But the reality? Oh, the reality is a botanical treasure trove. It's a living showcase of ingenious survival strategies and a deeply interconnected web of life. So let's get into that reality, shall we?
We're going to start by peeling back those sun-baked layers to find the vibrant heart that's beating just beneath the surface of this completely misunderstood ecosystem.
And this really gets us to the core question of this whole explainer. It's not just about, hanging on for dear life. How have these plants actually mastered an environment that would spell certain doom for pretty much any other living thing?
To really understand the genius of these plants, first, we've got to understand the game they're forced to play. We need to lay out the rules of survival that the environment itself sets.
So, what are those rules? Well, there are 3 of them. And let me tell you, they are simple, they are brutal, and they dictate every single aspect of life out here.
Okay, rule number 1. The heat is just relentless. We're talking about places like Death Valley, the hottest spot in North America, where the air itself feels like a blast furnace. This kind of thermal stress can literally cook a plant from the inside out.
All right, rule number 2. Water is treasure. It is the most precious currency in the desert. The sky is stingy, rain is rare and totally unpredictable, and whatever little moisture does fall, the thirsty air and baking sun just suck it right back up, often before it can even soak into the ground. And finally, rule number 3. It's a daily roller coaster. Scorching hot days can plunge into surprisingly cold nights. We're talking swings of 60 degrees Fahrenheit or more. That kind of shock to the system demands incredible toughness. So there you have it. Intense heat, almost no water, and wild temperature swings. Those are the rules of the game.
Okay, so the challenges are immense. I think we've established that. But here's the amazing part. For every single one of those problems, evolution has come up with an absolutely brilliant solution. So let's open up nature's ingenious toolkit.
It pretty much all boils down to a 3-part playbook for dealing with water. First, you got to find it. And these plants do that with incredible root systems that act like both deep drills and wide sponges. Second, you've got to store it, basically turning your own body into a living canteen. And third, and this is so important, you have to guard every single drop obsessively.
And one of the most brilliant tricks for guarding water is something called CAM photosynthesis. Now, don't let the name scare you. The easiest way to think about it is this. It's like breathing only at night. These plants open up their pores to take in CO2 when it's cool and humid. Then they literally hold their breath all day long to prevent water from escaping in the heat. It is an amazing evolutionary hack.
And the toolkit is just packed with other amazing gadgets. We're talking tiny little leaves to reduce the surface area exposed to the sun, waxy coatings that act like a seal for the whole plant, reflective, silvery hairs that work like a natural sunblock. Some plants even drop their leaves entirely during a drought and can still make food through their green photosynthetic bark. So clever.
So with that in mind, let's meet the undisputed champions of this game. The plants that have basically built their entire identity around hoarding water, the succulents, and of course, the cacti.
Now, have you ever wondered what actually makes a cactus and not just some other spiky succulent? Well, it all comes down to this one tiny, often fuzzy-looking feature called an areole. It's a specialized little bud that acts as the command center for everything. All spines, all flowers, and all new stems grow from it. The rule is simple. If you see an areole, you are looking at a true cactus. No areole, no cactus.
And this table here, it just illustrates the different paths these plants took perfectly. So on the left, you have the famous saguaro cactus, and on the right, an agave, another famous succulent. Now, both are experts at storing water, but look at how they do it. The saguaro spines are actually modified leaves that grow out of those areolas, and it stores its water in that big accordion-like stem. The agave, though, it stores water in its thick, waxy leaves, and its spines are just part of the leaf itself. Completely different blueprints for the exact same goal. And here's the really crucial point. These plants, especially big ones like the saguaro, they aren't just surviving out there in isolation. They are the architects of their entire ecosystem. They're what we call keystone species, literally creating homes and providing food for a whole host of animals, from woodpeckers and owls to countless insects and reptiles.
All right, so now let's zoom out and look at two completely different life philosophies for making it in the desert. You can think of it as the difference between a sprinter and a marathon runner, or a sentinel.
So first up, we have the sprinters. These are the ultimate opportunists. Their entire strategy isn't about enduring the harshness of the desert, but, well, completely avoiding it. And this is the wildflower way. They live their entire life in a flash, a few glorious, colorful weeks right after a good rain. The rest of the time, and we're talking years, sometimes even decades, they just exist as dormant seeds in the soil. It's called a seed bank. They're just waiting for that perfect signal. And when it finally comes, you get those absolutely spectacular, but very short-lived super blooms.
And then, on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, you have the marathon runners, the plants that stand guard and see it all. These are the long-lived sentinels.
This is the endurance strategy. Think of plants like the creosote bush or mesquite trees. They play the long game, slow and steady growth year after year. They form the very backbone of the ecosystem, providing stability and structure. And get this, they even act as nurse plants, creating these little shady, protected microclimates where the next generation of plants, including vulnerable baby cacti, can get their start.
So when we put all of this together, that old idea of the Southwest being a barren land, it just completely falls apart, doesn't it? It's not empty at all. It's a dynamic stage, a living theater that showcases some of the most resilient and brilliantly adapted performers in the entire natural world. And that leaves us with one final thought. In a world that often feels more and more challenging, what can we all learn from these incredible plants that have completely mastered the art of not just surviving, but truly thriving with so very little? It's something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me.